Hey, today I want to do a review of some of my wish list plants. I put out a video a while ago where I went through the plants that are on my wish list, and now it's been several months since then. I've actually gotten a lot of the plants that were on my wish list. I realized that when I was going through my notes the other day, so I thought I would show you some of the plants that I've gotten in the meantime. Some of them are pretty new, some I've had long enough that they've already kind of gone downhill and I might have to put them back on my wish list, but anyways, you'll see when I show you. What should we get started with? I guess maybe some Hoyas, because who doesn't like Hoyas? So one Hoya that was on my wish list was Coriacea silver. So here she is. Try and get my camera to actually like focus on it. I think you should be able to see it. So this is a gorgeous thin-leafed Hoya. My mom actually got this for me as a present. It's actually grown quite a bit since I got it. I actually just chopped it the other day to propagate. It was coming out with like one leaf silver and one leaf green. So I just kind of cut it back. Hopefully it'll grow from like this node kind of right here, and then the leaves will keep being silver. But I absolutely love this one. I love how big the leaves get. So I'm super, super excited that I was able to check that one out. Isn't it gorgeous? Love that one. Another Hoya that was on my wish list was Rime Splash. So this is another one I think that my mom purchased. Like, we often split Hoyas, so I think she actually got this one first, and she gave me a cutting, and now look at how good it's doing. It had like a long stem, and I decided to just like cut that off, and now it's getting 2 new leaves, and it's actually getting like a secondary growth point. So that's going to be an absolutely gorgeous plant, especially when it gets kind of bushier. I'm so happy with this one, and the silver is like really good. You can tell on the new leaves. Like, it's always a bit of a gamble when you're buying silvery Hoyas if the new growth is going to continue and be silver, but this one seems like it's really consistent. So I'm super happy with this one, and super happy that it's like actually growing as well. This one is like kind of a similar vibe to the Coriacea silver, but it's a little bit smaller leaves, but these get beautiful flowers. So this is a Cynthiantha, I think, or Cystiantha splash. Try and get my phone focus. So this one had almost no splash whatsoever on it when I got it. These leaves are not actually like the original leaves. They weren't actually even this splashy originally when I got it. I was already happy with this, but then now as it's been growing, it's just been getting like splashier and splashier, which I'm really, really happy about, because this is just a beautiful Hoya that kind of has a nice way that it cascades as it starts growing. I've seen some really, really beautiful ones, and I think the flower is just gorgeous. So I'm very excited to get this one. And this one was not expensive. This one maybe only cost me like $30 Canadian. So I am very, very happy about this plant. It's been growing super fast too. I think this is one where once it gets going, it goes really fast. River, the table of plants is not for you. Come here. This is another one I had on my wish list for a long time. This is Hoya insularis. I think that's how you say it, insularis. It has really cool kind of like rectangular leaves. Like, it's just a really, really interesting Hoya. I've had this one on my wish list for a while, but they were initially like very expensive, but I think they've come down in price significantly. So I finally picked one up since the price was good. Oh, I just noticed. So this is just a cutting. Again, I split a lot of plants with my mom, so I gave her, I think the bottom cutting, and I just took the top little piece. And I'm actually seeing now that it's starting to get a nice little growth point. So that's exciting. I might actually get like some new leaves off of this. So these are the leaves it came with. I haven't had any growth myself yet. So this is very exciting. Here's another one that was on my wish list. And again, this was a whoops, story of my life. This was also a gift from my mom, actually. This is a Polynura albo. This one as well, I just actually propagated it the other day for the first time. Well, actually not the first time, because I gave her, she gave it to me as a gift, and then pretty quickly after that I chopped it and gave her a piece back so she could grow it. I always think that's a good idea to do, especially with sensitive Hoyas like Polyneurias. It's so good to have like a backup, because I've had it so often where they just, you know, randomly die. But now this one is doing really good enough that I actually propagated a piece to sell. So I'm super happy with how this guy is growing. And I love Polyneurias. I love all of them. I love the way that they end up kind of like cascading out of the pot. Like, I just think they're really pretty, and I'm super happy to have the outer variegated version. Now, of course, the inner variegated version is on my wish list, but it'll be a long time probably before I get that one, because I think they're still like thousands of dollars. They're pretty new, but these guys came down in price pretty quickly, so eventually I'll be able to get the other one. I think that's all the Hoyas that I pulled. Let me, I have to check and see the Hoyas that were on my wish list that I haven't been able to actually get yet. Oh, okay, so Hoya Buntock Silver, or Mitrata, or is that the other like correct actual species name? I'm not sure. That one has still been a little bit pricey, but it is coming down in price, so that one is definitely on my wish list. I should be able to get that like at some point. Joy Splash, that's another one that has been like pricey, but I don't see a lot that have like really good silver, a really good splash on them. So I've kind of just been holding out for a good specimen on that one. Desapule? This one I just have never ever seen for sale. That's the one with the really cool like cage like flowers, but the leaves just kind of look like multiflora leaves. So I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, there's nothing special about it. I have not been able to get my hands on that one. I've never seen one for sale in Canada at all. So if you know where I can get one, please do let me know. I just think because it's not like splashy or whatever, it's not like a lot of people aren't really importing them or you know, whatever. That's actually all the Hoyas I had on my wish list. I could probably add a few more, but if you want me to do a new wish list, updated wish list video, let me know and I can definitely do that. Looks like the next section of plants that I had a lot on my wish list were actually begonias. So let me show you some of the begonias that I've been able to get my hands on. I'm actually probably like more excited about these begonias than I are about a lot of the aroids and stuff. Here's one that I wanted for a really long time. This is, oh, I guess I should take the prices and stuff off. Not that I really care if you see how much I paid for them. This is Chlorostica, and this is the red form. I can't remember if it's the red form or the green form that's like the true form. It might be the red form that is considered to be the true form. But this begonia has just been on my wish list forever. It was one of the first begonias that I ever really liked. I did end up ordering one at some point in the mail, and it just melted as soon as it got to me. So I'm super happy. I've had this one for a little while, and it has put out a few new leaves. Like, the old ones are looking a little bit raggedy, but that is okay because it is still alive. You can see the root system is like really good on it. I'm just scared to take it out of moss because I've been wanting to move a lot of my begonias over to self-watering pots, just because I find for a lot of my plants that are sensitive to moisture, it's a lot better for them. So that's kind of something I've been working on doing. I don't know how this one will fare. I might have to just take a cutting and root the cutting in the self-watering / soilless mixture. That has been working a little bit better for me than trying to like stress out the plant in the moss, and then I kind of have two copies. I have a backup just in case the cutting fails. So I might end up doing that with this one. This is what I mean by kind of self-watering. This is Begonia Autumn Ember. I don't think it was on my wish list video, but this has been a begonia that has been on my wish list for a really long time. Focus, please. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if it's focusing. I did post a picture of this one on my Instagram not too long ago. It's looking a little bit sad from that point, and that's honestly just because I've done that process where I got rid of the old substrate and I've been transitioning it to this soilless mix from Crystal Star Nursery, and then it's in like a self-watering pot. So it seems to be happy and perking up. It's just a little bit smaller than when I posted it. This is another one that has been on my wish list. Unfortunately, this is like just cutting. This is begonia lyalii, something like that. Now this plant was doing like super good, but somehow like all of my terrarium plants got root mealies, which is like the worst thing, especially for begonias that are really sensitive. So this is the original plant. I do have a picture on Instagram where it went from when it was doing better, like before it got root mealies. Like it was doing so good, and then it got root mealy bugs, and now it's, I think the mother plant is going to die. So I've taken this cutting. I think I have another cutting that is in moss, and this one I've been rooting in the soilless mix with some of the other begonias, just to kind of have a couple backup options, because this is already the second time I've purchased this plant, and it's just one of my favorite begonias because look how intricate the edging is and the red rim around it. Like, that's just so cool. And it has actually been pretty easy to care for. I've just kind of stuck it in like a clear bin so the humidity is really high. And it's been doing really well up until it got root mealies, and that's not the plant's that's not the plant's fault. I don't think I had this one on my wish list video either, but it has been on my wish list. This is begonia sarawak. If I can just again get the camera to actually focus on it. This is a really cool begonia because it's iridescent blue. Now, this isn't like the best example of that necessarily. I think it takes low light and high humidity to really get the nice blue color out of it. But right now I'm just happy that it's alive and it's actually grown a fair bit since I've gotten it. So I am super happy about this one. It's a little bit, one of the slightly more pricey ones as well. So I'm really, just happy that I haven't killed it. This is one, like some begonias will only give you blue under like flash, but this one in particular is quite blue even to the naked eye. This is not the bluest example, but I hope that we can get there. So I'm excited about this one. Yet another begonia that I don't think was on my wish list video, but has been on my wish list a long time now. Don't judge me because this looks like super terrible right now, but this is actually begonia soli mutata, but the variegated version. So I bought a plant, it was quite expensive. It didn't have a lot of variegation, and I've basically just been, I don't know if you can see in the pot, I've been kind of like chopping it at each node, and every time it puts out a growth point that's like all white or all green, I've just kind of been chopping it off. You can see these two leaves are kind of like, they have that more sectoral variegation that I want. So this has kind of just been a project, but it's alive, it's happy. This particular leaf is just, I find it so interesting because it's actually, like it's still attached to the rhizome, but I put it in a box with like 100% humidity, and it just started growing. After I chopped all the nodes, it started growing from the leaf. Now I know begonias do that, but I didn't think they normally do it while the leaf is still attached to the plant, which is just, like, I find that super cool. Now this one, it seems like all the leaf, like the whole leaf is variegated, so I don't know if it could actually survive on its own. But you can kind of see that some of the leaves have like a, kind of like a speckling of green on them. So they do have kind of like a minty chlorophyll thing going on. So it's possible that it could survive with this amount of variegation, but I don't think it looks all as nice when it's all pink versus when it has some green and some white. So this is a work in progress. I have another cutting that's in my vivarium with my frogs. It was actually a head cutting on here that I thought was reverted, but it seems like the pink is actually starting to come in on the edges of some of the new leaves. So I have a few different options, I guess. That one in my vivarium will hopefully get more variegated. And yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. So I know it looks really ugly, but this is actually like really exciting what's happening here. Not a begonia, but this one was like, this isn't exactly the same as what was on my wish list, but it's similar. So I had Biophytum sensitivum on my wish list. This is Biophytum Matamoros. So, and it's actually very cool. The leaves are kind of closed up right now. I think they do that when it's either dark or maybe it's a bit thirsty. But on the underside of the leaves, it's like a bright, very intense red color. This is a terrarium plant and it has grown. Now, they've rooted it in fluval stratum. I think I got this one from wilderly.ca. So they've rooted it in fluval stratum. I haven't moved it. And unfortunately, this one is in the box with the plants that got the root mealybugs. So I don't know if you can see that there are kind of some specks of white in there. Those are root mealies. So I might have to chop this one and reroot it, which makes me really nervous because it is like a sensitive plant, but it's probably better to do it now while the plant is healthy versus when it gets worse from the root mealies. So I don't know, but it is very, very cool. I would like to actually put it in my terrarium or vivarium or something, but I just have been so afraid to kill it because I don't have any more of these, anything more in this genus even. So I want to at least make sure I have one healthy copy. But very happy I have this guy. Hopefully I don't kill him. Here's another terrarium plant that I was very excited about and I think I'm killing it. This is Bulbophyllum monophyllum. So I got this plant. It was a little bit dehydrated when I got it. For a while it was doing like really, really good. And then now, unfortunately, I kind of went away for a little bit and it's like, it started rotting. So there was plants all here. I'll try and like post a picture of the original. But yeah, all the little blobs, all the little whatever they are, they just started going brown and rotting just like these ones are now. And I don't know what to do about it. Like, it seems like this little clump down here is still alive. But yeah, it was doing so well. It was growing. I have it in my vivarium, so it gets like misted every day. And I don't know if it was just like in a spot where it didn't have enough time to dry. It didn't have enough time to dry out in between the misting cycles, and there was too much water on the leaves, and now they all rotted. I don't know, because it was growing and really happy in that spot, and then all of a sudden it just like wasn't happy. So I might have to get another one of these if this one dies. This one was from Peculiar Flora, I think. I got it at the reptile/plant expo, and I did see them, like they had more of these. So at least now I know where I can find one if this one happens to die, but you know, you can't get everything right on your first try. Again, I think that's it for like terrarium plants. Let me see what else I had on my wish list. So I had Begonia Darth Vaderiana on my wish list. That one is still like kind of on my wish list, like, and I could get one if I wanted to. So Justin on Instagram, he has a lot of begonias. I traded with him recently and got some cool stuff from him. Now, he says the Darth Vaderiana is like the most challenging out of any of his plants, and he has quite a few like challenging begonias and anthuriums and stuff. So that makes me nervous that I'm gonna buy one and just instantly kill it. So I think he's offered to trade with me some Darth Vaderiana hybrids. So I probably will go with that instead. I'll probably end up getting a hybrid that I'm like less likely to kill, because everyone says that they're really, really hard, and I don't think there's a point in getting something just to kill it. And I just don't have the resources or the desire to set up like a, you know, temperature controlled setup just for one plant. So that one we'll see if I actually get it. Oh, begonia pteroides. I almost forgot about that one. That one, unfortunately, is another mealybug victim. So I'm going to have to just post a picture of that one. It was doing really, really well. Same thing as the Lyalii, but again, root mealybugs just have done a number on it and I'm very sad. But again, I think that one will pull through because it was pretty big and healthy at the time I started taking some cuttings, so we'll see. But that one's in rehab, so I can't really show you that one, unfortunately. Ooh, Selaginella variegated. So I think I might know where I can get one of these. It's just a matter of, I don't know if I like it enough to really invest in it and spend the money, and I don't know how much of a market for it there will be. But at the same time, I should probably buy one when I see it because I don't think they come up that often, at least not here in Canada. So that one is still on my wish list. It's just not like super high priority. Oh, another one I got, Elaphoglossum metallicum. So this is a really cool blue iridescent fern. It's in my gecko's tank actually. So I will show you a picture of that one. It hasn't really grown since I've gotten it. I think it's a very slow grower, as a lot of understory plants tend to be. A lot of the blue plants are low light plants and they tend to grow slowly, so I'm not too worried about it. It's just like, it's hard to tell if it's actually healthy or not, but I think it's doing okay. Another one that was on my wish list was Nervilia plicata. Now, we pot plants, I know, did have some variegated forms of this, but I think I actually like the non-variegated form better than the variegated form. So I haven't actually gotten one of those. Again, it's not like a high priority plant for me at this point. I'm not really sure. Oh, the other thing I wanted was a passiflora of some variety. Still haven't been able to find one, but hopefully someday. Again, it'll just kind of be on my radar as just something I'm kind of like casually looking for. I don't know a lot of people in Canada that have them. Again, if you know a shop that sells them, please do let me know. I'm just keeping an eye out on like Instagram for private sellers basically at this point to find someone who has it. But that's okay. I don't mind waiting for that one. Okay, there are a couple like oddballs that I have checked off my list. So okay, so this guy, I'm pretty excited about this. So I don't know for sure because it didn't actually have like an ID when I bought it. This is also one that came from one of the times I was at the reptile / plant expo. I believe that this is Platycerium ridleyi, which is probably my favorite of the Platyceriums. I just really like how the fronds are nice and petite. Now, this guy is kind of thirsty right now and he was kind of banged up when I first got him. So he seemed like a pretty recent import, but now like you can see he's growing a new frond. This frond is new since I got him, so he's actually doing really well. But I just love the cute little fronds. They don't get massive, like they stay just like, they have a really nice structure and vibe to them. I don't know how else to describe it other than that. I think the other Platycerium that was on my wish list, what was it? The other one was Willinkii. I'm not sure if I've actually even seen one of those. I might have, but again, Platyceriums are pretty like low priority for me, and this was the one that I really wanted. So I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about getting that other one. We'll see. If I find one at some point and I like it, I'll probably pick it up. But again, not in a hurry or anything. Here's a really random one. Again, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this little guy. Can you see him? This is, I have to look at my notes again to see what this one is called. It's Schizobassis intricata. Now, he doesn't have much in the way of like actual leaf growth. Like this little skinny thing is considered the leaf, and they kind of like branch more than this, which makes them look really cool. Very intricate, as the name would suggest. River. I don't know if I just don't water it enough, but it's like, it hasn't grown much in the way of leaves, but if you can see in the pot, it is actually split. So it started out as just this main plant when I first got it, and now it has split into 2 separate plants. So, you know, I must be doing something right. It just looks like a little oniony bulb. I'm really glad I didn't kill this one. It's very cool. Just kind of a random little succulent. I'll try and put the shops where I got these. I think this one was Glitter and Grow Co. I'll try and leave a link if I can remember, but just look how cute that is. River, no eating the succulents. Another just kind of general thing that was on my wish list was pings. So I was able to get a couple. I also killed a couple, but I think my favorite of the ones that I've gotten, this one is from Brad's greenhouse. Now, okay, there's 2 different kinds of plants in here, but this purple one in the center, that is Cyclosecta, and that gets really cool flat purple rosettes. The other one is Ellerzier, is that how you say it? This one also colors up really nicely. This is actually a replacement plant of one that I killed, that I just replaced the other day. But the Cyclosecta is probably my favorite ping that I have at the moment, just because it's so purple. And I basically, to get it that purple, I think it's either going into dormancy or coming out of dormancy, so it's not quite as purple as it could be. But I just basically blast this under grow lights the same as I treat my succulents. So it's only like a couple inches from grow lights, and that helps give it really nice color. I love this little guy. I wish he would give me some babies, but I'm scared to disturb him too much. Okay, you might also remember I had huperzia on my wish list as well. These are really cool plants, also known as tassel ferns, and I was actually able to get 2 of them from Peculiar Flora, again from the reptile expo / plant show that I went to. So I'll show you both of them. These ones I'll probably have to stand back a bit for you to be able to see the whole thing. Isn't that just beautiful? Now, I've had these for a couple months now. I feel like some people might be a bit curious as to how they're doing. So it's doing fine. I wouldn't say it's doing fantastic. I find it's just really hard to tell actually if it's doing well or not. Now, River did take a couple chunks off the top, and you can see that some of the leaves along the stems have dried up, but I think there is new growth on the tips. It's just very, it's pretty slow growing, but it's not dead. And it seems to droop a little bit, it gets a little limp when it runs out of water and then perks back up when I water it. I try and keep this one moist pretty much all the time. And yeah, it seems to be doing okay. I just have it by one of my south-facing windows, just kind of over there. So it gets lots of light, nothing special in terms of humidity, and it seems to be doing okay. This one is Carniata Triangle, which has really just beautiful, intricate foliage, and the way the light kind of shimmers off of it. It's just so pretty. I'm very happy I was able to find this plant, and it hasn't been hard to care for. It was drying out a little bit too quickly. I just have it growing in sphagnum moss, and I put it in a container without drainage, just I used to have it just the ball kind of hanging, but that dried out way too quickly. So this is how I have it. Blah. Okay, I put bitter spray that you can put on stuff for dogs and whatever. Because River has been chewing it, I put bitter spray on it to see if that would deter him from chewing it. But I can still it's very strong, so if I touch it at all, I must have gotten it on my lips at some point, and I can still taste the bitter spray. I feel like I'm the one who's suffering. I'm the one who's suffering, not you. And I actually got a second huperzia as well. This one I have to stand back even more, I think, for you to see all of it. How beautiful is this one? This one is different, but they're both cool in their own way. So I like the other one for the small, kind of delicate foliage. And I like this one for how structured it is. Now this one, I think this branch might actually be either broken or dried up. I kind of have the same problem with this one where I think it's actually growing, because if you can see, these little tips on the ends are starting to like point towards the light, like the window is over here. This one actually lives back on my shelf, like over there. So it's actually starting to like grow towards the light, which means it's growing. But on top, you can tell that there's some spots where it's kind of like dried out. So it kind of looks worse than it is. But I think this one too is actually quite happy, which I am very proud. Again, same care conditions. It's just in moss. Nothing special for humidity. It's probably around 50%. But just look how beautiful it is. This one gets really, really long too. What was this one called? This one might be Gobelia or something, but I'll put the name on the screen, obviously. You can just see this must have gotten broken or something. So this one is dead. I'll probably have to chop that and try and propagate it. Apparently they will propagate at the, like where it splits, they will grow roots there. But apparently it just takes like a really, really, really long time. So we'll see, but I'm happy, so happy I've been able to, number one, find these guys at a good size. They weren't crazy expensive, and that I've been able to keep them alive. Like these guys are probably what I'm most excited about out of all of the plants on my wish list. Well, ex-wish list, I guess. Kind of a similar style of plant. So this is a Ceratostemma. This one is Ceratostemma rayi. Now, I got this from Equigenera Equigenera at one of their pop-ups. There was like a botanical expo, and they had a table there. So it is basically just a fresh import. Now, I can't really tell how it's doing, to be honest. It kind of has stopped dropping leaves, which is a good thing. I have it in a self-watering planter so that it can stay like constantly moist. It didn't really have much in the way of roots when it came in. And the stems are, I think, naturally dark because they get kind of like woody at the base. So I don't think the problem with that is it's hard to tell if it's rotting or if that's just the color that the stem is. But this stem, like, it kind of looks more dehydrated. I have it in a bin where it's at like 100% humidity. And I just don't know if they even can really be propagated very well. So I'm kind of just leaving it as is and hoping for the best with this one, to be honest. But right now it looks cute, right? And it would look so nice on a shelf. Like, I love these kind of trailing plants, and these ones actually get flowers, so I really hope it's doing well. I actually got a second Ceratostemma at that same event, which is this one. Now, I had this potted up, but then I was worried that it was rotting, so I took it out. Like, see how dehydrated it looks? Sorry, focus. This one is Ceratostemma pendens, and I actually think I like this more than the rawhii. Because the new growth on this one comes out like orange, and just look at how like structural it is in the way that it grows. But I have the same problem with this one where like the stems are very woody. So it's like impossible to know if it's like, okay, that's the color the stem should be, or the stem is brown because it's rotting. And you can see that it kind of has a little bulb or codex. And it's like the outside of it is almost like it looks moldy, but when you feel it, it's firm. So I think it's just the skin on the outside goes kind of moldy. This one was originally doing better, I thought, than the rawhii, but it seemed like it had a root system, but I guess all the roots just kind of died off. So I honestly don't know what's happening with this one or if it'll survive but it's not completely dead because it's still firm. So I'm just treating this one. I'm just treating this one the same as the Rahia and just keeping it in a self-watering pot. But I really hope it makes it, because that will be, I don't know, just a really cool plant if it makes it. I think that's it for most of the like random weirdo categories. Last but not least, Anthuriums and aroids. But I think the only non-Anthurium on my wish list was Philodendron bilietiae variegated, and I have not gotten one of those. They're still very expensive. Honestly, I have a Burley Marks that's variegated that I actually really like. I love the yellow variegation on it, and I'm kind of happy just with that one for now. I do want a bilietiae eventually, but honestly, I want one that's like this big. I don't know if I want like a little one. So one, I don't have the budget for it, and two, I don't have the space for it. So until you can get one that's like that size for a half decent price, I probably won't get one. But as far as Anthuriums go, so this is my most recent one that I'm so excited about. This is I know it doesn't look like much. I'm always excited about the ones that like don't look like much, but this is a genuine NSC Tropicals red crystallinum seedling. And I don't know if you can tell, but in the little baby leaf, you can already start to see some of the like redness developing. It does actually have a lot more red in the veins than your standard crystallinum does. So I am so excited to actually have one of these for real. I think it's my all-time favorite crystallinum variety. And I know there's several like brand name forms of red crystallinum, if you will. Like I think Zara might be just another form of crystallinum, and there's like a dock block version. Honestly, I don't really care. As long as it's red and it's dark, then I'm happy. So very happy to have this guy. Just got this little one in the other day. Now, before I had that little seedling, I actually got this guy, this is a red crystallinum crossed with just a normal crystallinum. So it is darker than your average crystallinum, and depending on how my camera picks it up, it does have a bit of red in the sinus, but it doesn't have as much red in the emergent leaves as like a true Anthurium crystallinum red. But this one cost me less than this little tiny seedling, so I've still been quite happy with this guy. I feel like you might actually be able to see more red in this older leaf. Like I feel like for a hybrid, it has a lot of traits of the red crystallinum, so I'm still pretty happy with this guy. But once my other one starts growing, if I like the traits of it, then I'll probably end up selling this one, but we'll see. I do like him. It's not that I don't like him. Look how pretty he is. You may also remember that I had on my wish list, I think I basically just said like dark Anthuriums, but the poster child of that for me is the Anthurium Ace of Spades, and specifically the Tazula dark form. If you don't know, Tazula is, I believe, a nursery in the United States. So they have certain like select plants that they've kind of picked out and raised with certain characteristics. So that's why it's called Tazula dark form. So this is a second generation Tazula Ace of Spades dark form. This is from Sonia, or Northern Plant Room on Instagram. So this is from her plant, just like crossed with itself. So it's an F2 self-pollination, whatever you want to call it. It seems like it's pretty dark and has like nice sheen to it and minimal veining. So I'm hoping that this will have good characteristics of the mother and father plant, of the parent plant. Now, if not, my mom actually just bought from Samya a actual division of her Ace of Spades, which is it's one of the most beautiful Ace of Spades I've seen. So I'm very happy that, you know, eventually when it grows, she'll probably be able to share a piece of that with me, and it's very, very exciting. I think I have gotten like a few more Anthuriums, but those were the main ones that were on my wish list. I think, so what else was on my wish list? Oh yeah, I had Anthurium Delta Force on my wish list, which obviously I'm not gonna be able to afford anytime soon, so it's still on my wish list. I really hope you like this video. Let me know if any of these plants are new to you. I really appreciate you watching my video and liking and commenting and subscribing and doing all that stuff. Thank you so much. I hope you have an awesome day. Let me know what your wish list plants are, and I will see you in the next video.